Today I got the Sennheiser HD550 open back headphones. Now I'm going to share with you my first impressions, and more testing will come in the near future. But basically I was searching to upgrade my Philips AGC 9600. Now mostly I'm going to use it for games, but music, and of course also music in games. These are the Philips 9600, which I use for quite some time now. They are open back, relatively very cheap, very comfortable, adjustment options, and also supposed to be very good bass extension, but I'm going to talk about that in a moment. It was also very comfortable. I can just wear it for many hours, and it's actually served me quite well. So what I didn't like about it? Well, I didn't like that it felt a bit muddy. And again, coming from testing also, for example, the cheapest on-ear KC75, which I really like, and it doesn't matter how I try to EQ it and listen to different recommendations, I didn't get this really open, airy feeling that I get with the KC75. And I always missed it, and I always changed back to the KC75 in different games because I always wanted to feel this coziness in the ear, everything just open and like the sound is flowing in the room. But bass, well, forget about it. Unless you EQ it a bit, you're gonna get a bit of thumbs here and there, but it's not there. But oh boy, I love the sound of it. And by the way, those pair of on-ear you can actually get, I think like $20, something like that. They're very cheap. I actually bought the second one because I love them so much. So let's talk about the things that I personally care about the most. So these are basically my requirements. Comfort, a session for long session, if it doesn't feel good, it's a no-go, including of course ergonomics. It needs to, again, be lightweight. Sound stages and imaging crucial for precise audio localization in games, and I like it feeling spacious. So I like it being wide, but not too wide, because then I feel a bit disconnection from the game. Resolution and detail retrieval, letting basically hear every subtle sound, enhancing both music and in-game cues, or of course music in-game itself. Expedition 33 with good headphones. I also like that it responds well to EQ adjustments because my Philips, for example, doesn't respond well, and I tried different adjustments, and just that whatever I did, I just couldn't get it the way I wanted it to be. All right, and I don't want it also to become muddy, and basically with the Philips it didn't work. Appropriate bass is important, but shouldn't bleed into the mids or overwhelm other sounds. I'm not a bass head, but I don't want something. I'm something in the middle. I want it to be. I want to hear it. I want it to feel it, but I don't really need it to be very, very prominent in order to enjoy it. Also, don't like harshness. I don't like overly bright and harsh sounds, whether it's the mids or highs. Gaming is a priority for me, so I needed to excel for games, but with music as a strong secondary. Another thing, I want it to be easy to drive, so it should sound good. I can use it even with my laptop computer, even without an amp. And by the way, I'm going to do another test with an amp that I'm going to get in a few days. These are my first impressions actually that I'm going to share, are without an amp, just connecting directly to my gaming laptop. I also like that it's easier to clean. For example, there's no like a pad that I need to clean with the damp water or something. Here actually it's not the case. I'm going to talk about it in a moment. Now I knew one thing for sure. It doesn't matter how many reviews I'm going to read. There are things that many people agree about, but there's so many things that are subjective because each person, for example, head and ear anatomy is different, and you're going to hear headphones sometimes different and different color, depends also on the shape of your head, on anatomy of your ear. Or there are things that you can measure objectively. When it comes to subjective, you can hear that even audiophiles, when they share their opinion, they have different opinions about different headphones. Different opinions about the same headphone. So the bottom line is that nothing replaces an actual experience because of the subjective preferences and anatomies that I mentioned, and also other gear that you might have. There are many other variables that can actually affect the audio quality and the color of the audio that you hear. But definitely when I did research, I took everything into account. Now in the past, I've bought IEMs and I also bought various closed back. I always come back to the open back headphones. And there are, of course, ones that might be better than others. I'm not in a position where I'm going to try so many of them, but I did do my research, quite a heavy one, and I decided based on my experience and what I tried to buy open back headphones. And for some of you, once you try open back headphones, you might never come back to close back ever again. And trust me, I tried quite a few of these close back recommended one for gamers. But for me, I wasn't actually looking for a gamer's headphone. I didn't want, for example, I don't need the microphone, built-in microphone. I didn't need anything to do a mix between, for example, Discord or in-game chat or, and sound in game. I just wanted high quality sound. It would be good mostly for me in gaming, but also for music. I remember buying the HyperX Cloud 2 and I returned it the next day because it was so bad I just couldn't bear it. I just couldn't listen to it. Now there are quite a few headphones, open back headphones that I actually considered. And you can see a list of a few of them right here. Now affordability wasn't really a big issue here. Like if I pay something that may be supposed to cost less or, I didn't care. As long as I love the results and, it's relatively in the price range that I was looking for, I'm okay with that. But the headphone has to have the characteristic that I'm actually looking for, and hopefully I will be satisfied with this. If not, I can always return it. So I try it out. So first of all, regarding my first impressions, in terms of build quality, it feels good, but not great. It's not like, something that feels very robust and metallic. I think it's mostly plastic. However, it's very lightweight. And I also wore it, and it felt very, very comfortable. Actually, as I time of making this video, I'm actually wearing it right now, and it just feels like it's not there. Also regarding the air cushion, they feel really comfortable to my ears. It's not pressing on anything inside and feels a bit even airy and very, very comfortable. So again, I wore it for quite a few hours since I got them and no issues as of now. And if they weren't comfortable, by the way, I will probably not even consider using them because again, comfort is the most important thing for me. What's the point if they are great and you can enjoy them for the long run? Of course, there are different options for some headphones to replace the ear covers, but again, it's very comfortable, so no complaints here. Also, the top is not made of fabric, so it's very easy to clean. You don't need to clean it, for example, like damp water with the clothes, because again, it doesn't absorb maybe oils and and anything else. So yeah, very easy to clean. I actually like that. The ear cups rotate a bit, again, which is great to fit different hats. For me, again, it's very, very comfortable. I don't like something that is fixed. In terms of clamp, again, very comfortable. I don't feel like it's pushing on my head, but depends again on the head. For me, a relatively slim head, it feels comfortable. Also very lightweight, so you barely feel it that you wear it, and this is one of the most important things. So yeah, here, I really appreciate what they've done here. You can also extend it, which I actually had to do because my head is a bit long compared to the ear location. So I need to kind of extend it just a bit, and it just perfectly sits on my head. It feels very comfortable. Now I'm going to share with you my impressions when it comes to sound quality, and more in-depth review will come. Just know that I don't have any amplifier. I mean, I'm just connecting, I bought, I will get it, and of course I'm going to share more, but I'm just connecting it to my laptop directly. It's a gaming laptop, Lenovo Legion. And as we do that, you can actually see some more, visual representation of the headphones from different angles. So first of all, it sounds loud. I'm connecting it to my laptop and it sounds loud enough, and I even put the volume to the maximum. So when it comes to driving these headphones, I think that you won't have a problem driving them. It doesn't matter what you connect it to. But I only tested it with my laptop and it just very high volume, no problem. I won't even increase it because it's just going to be too much. So sound quality wise, well, I was blown away. It actually answered my needs, but I'll explain exactly in what way. So first of all, these headphones offer an incredibly immersive soundstage. I wouldn't say it's bigger than what I had before, maybe slightly compared to what I had with the Philips, because it feels more airy, so it maybe sounds like that. So it has a very expensive presentation that fills the listening space, but don't expect something ultra wide, like no, and I actually didn't want it to be too wide, so it's just the exact amount that I actually like. Now the mid-range are kind of warm and inviting, but compared to the SHC 9600, the Philips, it's slightly harsher, but it's because I'm not used to it, because I'm used to something that's so much subdued in the mid-range that I feel a difference. Something that I'm going to get used to, of course, in time, but it's not really too much. I'm just saying, compared to the Philips, it felt a difference for sure. Now I'm also discovering some previously unheard nuances in familiar tracks, like the delicate pauses between violin notes and the subtle ambient cues that reveal the recording environment, even minor details such as slight mouth sounds and from vocalists. I was actually listening to Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Alicia, and other original soundtracks, and it just sounds like something else because you hear all these sounds that you had never heard before, and it just basically have more emotional impact when you hear the soundtrack again with these headphones. Also, the timbre of instrument is remarkably accurate. I can almost feel the acoustic properties of the wood in the cello and violins. Vocals possess a forward and present quality, spreading out to greet the listener, which of course is completely contrast to the HSC 9600, which felt very much enclosed. I mean, in comparison to this headset. Also, I think the tonal balance is exceptional, delivering the clarity I appreciate from certain other headphones, but with perfectly integrated bass that complements rather than overwhelms the mids. The sound is remarkably airy and spacious, creating a sense that the music is naturally unfolding within the room, a stark contrast to the more enclosed and constrained presentation of some other models that I tried, including the Philips that I mentioned here. It was such a big contrast that it felt like the sound has been liberated. Like I feel like I'm moving from low graphics to high graphics, or when you move from single motor rumble to high definition haptics, but of course in the context of sound. Now, in game like Battlefield, for example, the sub bass is satisfying and impactful, with well-defined thumbs and excellent separation that ensure that all sound elements remain distinct, preventing fatigue even amidst chaotic soundscapes of leaves, bullets, wind, and some communication that also happens in the background when you play this game. The mid-range is superbly balanced, crucial again for maintaining clarity in complex gaming environments. For example, when I try to balance it with EQ with my Philips, all this sounds like it was just a mess. I just couldn't listen to it, and I had to, just bring it down. I couldn't find a good balance where I said, all right, I like when I'm hearing the sounds, but I really want, the bass to be more prominent also. But when I increase the mids and I try different frequencies, I just couldn't get it right. And here it seems that it's right straight out of the box. But I can't judge it right now because I need to let my ears, of course, get accustomed to the sound. So, of course, I'm going to do another more in-depth review later on after I get more time with headphones. Now, also, the open and natural sound create a truly breathable battlefield atmosphere. Explosions are powerful, yet controlled, delivering a satisfying punch without being overwhelming. Now, these impressions are from an out-of-the-box listening experience without an external amplifier or anything. So again, as I mentioned, once I get my amp and I try different games and music, I'm going to share, of course, more in-depth analysis. But one thing surprised the most, I actually use different videos to hear different frequencies. So during, for example, iHacker Ultimate Headphone Bass Test, the low-end extension of these headphones is very, very impressive. I can clearly perceive bass frequencies. I think it was like down to, I don't know, like 11 hertz or something, where I heard the difference compared to my Philips headphones. There was significant improvement over the models that I tried before, whether with these headphones I can definitely hear it. It's kind of shaky, you hear the sound, the sub bass, whether with my other headphones I just couldn't hear anything, or it was a sound but it didn't feel like it's actually bass. And basically like frequencies below 20 hertz were barely audible on my Philips, which is a huge difference, and it sounds really good on these headphones. So I'm just asking myself how it will be like if I'm going to EQ it up, but again, I haven't done so. This is for a later video. So yeah, again, these are just my first impressions. I'm going to share more. Maybe I'm going to find things that I don't like, or things that again I like more. Of course, I need more time to adjust to it, and I'm going to get the DAC, and I'm going to try and compare and do other stuff later on. So they have so many things that I like about them so far, including comfort, including the sound, and I tried it with different games, music. This is a type of headphone that I probably won't pick the KSC75 again just to enjoy this airy and openness and spacious sound that I like so much with the KOS. With the KOS KSC75. So here I really enjoyed this openness and airy and very delicate and very precise sound, but also very complementary bass, which was very lacking, and in the KSC75 was lacking. On the Philips it was there, but again I realized that it's not actually there completely, because I did try with the sub bass and the different tests, and I couldn't even hear certain sound that I actually hear on these headphones. So the resolution of the sound is much higher here, even compared to my Philips, which of course had many other issues. And this is it for now. I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to share more. So if you want to hear more about my experience, make sure to subscribe. More coming.